About time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel, who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos, and leave the comments, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to Rashawn's About Time Boxing, become part of the About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang. Shout out to New Media too. Keith Thurman. This guy he is a jackass. He is a certified, bona fide piece of shit. Excuse my expression. Please, excuse it. Now, he did an interview, and the guy's asking him about Vergil Ortiz. Do you know who Vergil Ortiz is? He say no. I heard a little bit about him, but not too much. But he's the same, and this stuff just sounds, it's the same stuff he said. He's a little too green. He needs to get some more fights up underneath his belt before he step in the ring with me. Same stuff he said about Errol Spence before Errol Spence was a champion, and even after Errol Spence won the IBF title, and he was asking you for a title shot, and you just kept making up excuses. See, the problem with you is, Keith Thurman, you a bitch. Because, well, I'll get to that. But then the guy, asked him about Jaron Ennis. I mean, these young cats, they barking, blah, 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 all that stuff. But man, I never heard nothing about him. So the guy said, you haven't heard about Jaron Boots Ennis from Philadelphia? Who fought Sergey Lipinets and he destroyed Lipinets? He said, the world talking about this kid. He fights on Showtime. But you never heard of him. Yo, not only are you a piece of shit, but you a liar. You know damn well who Jaron Ennis is. And the reason why you was sitting up there trying to pretend like you ain't know who Jaron Ennis is because you know that people was going to start talking about, you fighting him. And he already said why he's basically pretending not to know who Vergil Ortiz is or not to know who Jaron Ennis is. He talking about, well, I got my targets focused elsewhere. Listen, not only do I hope that you never become a champion again, but I'm gonna go on record right now and say you will never become a champion in the welterweight division again. Never. And this is why nobody wants to give you a shot. And you doing all these dumbass interviews, talking all this crazy stuff, towards these other people, because you're trying to make yourself relevant again. Because see, now you peeking through the keyhole, you staring through the door now. And see, and now you looking back at, now, when you was the man and people wanted to fight you and all you wanted to do was just sit on the belts and just milk the belts. Now you are relevant, listen, first of all, dude, you're not the same fighter that you was back then. And everybody know that. So win, lose, or draw, you talking about you trying, and this is why even when he talked about when they asked him about the Sean Porter Terrence Crawford fight, he wants Sean Porter to win because he has a better chance at making the fight happen with Sean Porter and becoming a champion if Sean Porter wins than getting a fight with Errol Spence or getting a fight with Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. He can't even make a fight happen with Ugas. I didn't hear him mention Ugas' name. He may have, but Ugas got something over you that he beat Pacquiao. And you couldn't. And you want to look at the names on, and then you talking about how Vergil Ortiz He need to get a few more. He's 18-0 with 18 knockouts. How old were you when you won your first WBO, NABO junior welterweight title? You was 19-0. You was 19-0, dude. See, this is what I be talking about. When people talk about guys, like Jaron Ennis and how, he don't got no experience and he don't got this, he don't got that. Like a lot of these guys that's champion now won these titles when they were 13-0, 17-0, 19-0. I mean, are you serious? But you scared to fight Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis because they both would whoop your ass. They both would stop you. Yep, I said it. Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis both would stop Keith Thurman. Both of them would. And he know it. So if he's going to take the risk of getting knocked out or stopped, he just trying to get, the biggest fights for the most money. I mean, dude, how much money do you really think that you're worth? The biggest name on your resume is Manny Pacquiao. So what are you talking about? How these, by the biggest name? I mean, I'm not saying that Robert Guerrero is nobody. I'm not saying that Luis Collazo is nobody. I'm not saying that Josecito Lopez is nobody. Yeah, you fought those guys. Some of them majority decision, some of them unanimous decision, some of them split decision. But you making it seem like you was, and you beat Sean Porter. So that qualifies you to what? To say who's ready to fight you and who's not. I think Bob Arum offered you $1 million or something like that. It was $1 million or 1.5 or something like that, and he scoffed at that. Dude, you've been out the fight game for a minute. You haven't fought since Pacquiao. This is your first fight back. Take the money. Oh man, once I gotta pay this and I gotta pay that and I gotta do this and this and that. How much money do you really think that you worth? You really think you deserve 10 million? 15 million? You're not a draw like that, dude. You're not a big draw like that. So what makes you think that you deserve all this big money? You only know that, you know what I mean? You see, this is why I'm glad that Errol Spence will never give you a fight. I'm glad he'll never give you a fight. You may get a fight with somebody else. It's possible you can get a fight with Ugas. And I know you sitting there waiting to see who the winner of Porter Crawford is. I know you are. And I know you hoping that Sean Porter win because you got a better shot at getting that fight and probably getting like maybe between 2 and 3 million for that fight. Yeah. Because you can't beat Terrence Crawford either. And you know that. And it'll be so funny if Errol Spence said, okay, if you want to fight me, you got to fight Jaron Ennis and you got to fight Vergil Ortiz. If you fight them, then you can get a fight with me. What would your response be then? Would you be willing to fight them, in order to get a fight with Errol Spence? One time? Would you? Would you be willing to fight Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis just to get a fight with Errol Spence? It'd be funny if Crawford, Ugas, it'd be funny if all those guys just said that. Oh, you want to get a fight? You want to fight us? You want to fight for a title? Then you got to fight Jaron Ennis and Vergil Ortiz. I mean, dude, every time I watch a video with Keith Thurman, he's just, he's the creme de la creme. He's the top of the top. Oh, I belong up there with those guys. Oh, yeah, you fought Danny Garcia, too. But he belongs up there with the top guys. And I'm not saying that Keith Thurman is a bad fighter. But his morals, you know what I mean? The way he conducts himself is effed up. See, he don't want to give nobody else a shot, but he want everybody else to give him a shot. Everybody. He don't want to give none of these young up and coming guys a shot. And before y'all say anything, remember, a lot of y'all was even saying about Jaron Ennis. Before, he ain't ready for Crawford or Spencer, like, let him fight Keith Thurman or Sean Porter. Let him fight one of them. Yeah. So why don't y'all call for that? Al Heyman, whoever controls Keith Thurman, I think he's a PBC fighter. That's enough. Go ahead, offer Sean Porter enough money to fight Jaron Ennis, and to be honest, if they offered him $3 or $4 million, he still wouldn't take the fight. He still wouldn't take the fight, because he's like, in his mind, if I fight them, and if I lose, then I'm not gonna be able to get no title shots, or that's going to mess my play up and what I'm trying to do. Because granted, he only has one loss. He has one loss. 22 knockouts. Jaron Ennis got 26 knockouts. And Vergil Ortiz is tiptoeing up on you. He has 18. He's tiptoeing right up on you. 4 KOs away. He can get that done. To top you. To match you or to top you. How many of y'all really feel like that Keith Thurman is just full of shit? Come on, man. I can't be the only one that feel like that. And I know it's some of them Thurman fans that's gonna be, you don't know what you're talking about. Boots can't beat him. Vergil Ortiz can't beat him. I know that's what some of y'all gonna say. I'm already tired. Don't hit me with that tired shit. Don't. Because he can't beat them, and that's why he don't want to fight them, and that's why he's trying to pretend like he don't know who they are, because he don't want nobody bringing up them, him potentially fighting either one of those guys, when they talking to him about other stuff. The only thing he want to do is talk about and critique other fighters, while he keep thinking he going to chase this title, but trying to down the youngins that's who's earned their way and who's earning their way, to get the number one spot. So he don't hear them guys now, but I bet you any amount of money, if Boots had a belt and Vergil Ortiz had a belt, I bet you he'd be talking about, now he would say he know who they are just because they champions. But then he'd turn around and be saying some stuff like, yeah, well, even though I know who those guys are, and even though they're champions, but still, they're not ready for one time. I'm a different kind of fighter. I'm this and that. This dude really, really think, I guess, as a fighter, if you don't believe that you the best at what you do or good at what you're doing, then who else will? But when you had less fights than Jaron Ennis. And you was calling out Floyd Mayweather because you thought you was ready. And you didn't want nobody to tell you that you wasn't ready. And you got your first title shot. When you was 18-0. And you got the WBO, NABO. Now you was 19-0. Nobody said you wasn't ready. And guess what? What was your mindset then? You didn't want nobody telling you wasn't ready either, because as a fighter and based on how you were performing at that time and the level that you thought you was on, you knew you was ready. So how are you going to try to say that these guys are not ready? You can't say that. And then to go further, but to say that you don't even know who they are and you don't know of them, just because you sniffing up the Errol Spence tree and the Terrence Crawford tree and any other title tree that you can, try to, sniff up, dude. Like, come on, man. What type of Keith, you need to go sit your ass down one time. Seriously. Again, if y'all think I'm tripping, drop the comments at the bottom. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video and share this video and leave those comments. Pass the word. But for him to say that he don't know who Vergil Ortiz is, the world knows who Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis is. And you're a fighter with a name. So when you was a young up and coming fighter, you knew who all of the people who were already established, or who was, you knew. And when you was the champion, you knew who the people was coming after you. You knew who they was. But you know why Vergil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis is calling you out. Because you're a name that they can put on their resume, and now then nobody can deny them. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to block them, from being worthy of getting those title shots. That's what you're trying to do. Because if they beat you, nobody can deny them now. If you fight both of those guys and they beat you, you can't. Now nobody can deny them and say, oh, they haven't been tested. Because some people feel like Vergil hasn't been tested. Some people feel like Jaron Ennis hasn't been tested. But I feel like both those guys has been tested enough that they are ready to fight for a world title. Either one of them at any given moment. But Keith Thurman, the man who thinks he deserves all the opportunities but never wants to give any. That's why Errol Spence said you phony, called you corny, said you a clown. That's because you are. You are. I'm telling you, I remember it like it was yesterday. Errol Spence was calling him out like, yeah, I'm trying to get that fight with Keith Thurman. Oh, what do you think about that? Champ, Errol Spence called you out. Yeah, I hear him, calling me out, but he's not ready for one time. I don't think he's put the rounds in. I don't think he's had enough experience. Let him get some more rounds, some more experience. Then it's, he doesn't have nothing for one time. Let him win a belt. When he get a belt, then we can make it happen. When he won the belt, Errol said, he said win a belt. I got a belt now, so what's up? Let's unify. Let's make it happen. And still, you was doing the same thing back then that you doing now. You was eyeing Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, possibly Miguel Cotto. You trying to get like any kind of big name that was going, help you get that. Because all you want is the money anyway. And I guess you figure you got to have a status to get the money. Or to get set up to get put in a position, to get the status so you can get the money. That's why you didn't mind losing to Pacquiao, because you knew that was a husky payday for you. Probably your biggest payday to date. And why you sitting out here talking all this stuff about how you don't know who this fighter is and you don't know who that fighter is, why don't you call Bosley or somebody and see what they can do with that, see if they can, bring you up a little bit, bring you up to speed. Because you got that half row thing happening. That leather wig and them suede sideburns. This stuff is just crazy, man. Like, smash the like button, man. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Don't forget to share this video. Tell me, like what y'all think, man. Like, cause I know I can't be tripping. Keith Thurman really is a piece of crap. Like, this guy think he deserves all the opportunities and think that he's, more valuable than any other fighter. So he feel like no matter how long he been away from the sport, he can just step back and fight anybody. You're not Floyd. You're not Oscar De La Hoya. You're not Manny Pacquiao. You're not on that level. You got to be special to be on that level, and you're not that. You're a good fighter, but you're not a special fighter, dude. You don't do nothing special or great in the ring. That's another reason you don't want to fight, fight Vergil Ortiz or Jaron Ennis, because you already know them guys will spin circles around your ass in that ring. And before you know it, you will be looking up at the lights. And the referee would be like, 10. That's it. So let me know what y'all think, man. Don't forget, man, to subscribe to the channel. Encourage others to subscribe. Smash that like button, hit the notification bell, share this video, and like I said, drop them comments, man. Keith Thurman a fraud or a fraud? For real. Because that's what he's doing. Sigmund Fraud. He's frauding. And he really need to come up off that, man. Like, stop acting like you don't know who Jaron Ennis is. Stop acting like you don't know who Vergil Ortiz is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to take a fight. So you don't even want to take no tune. I mean, like, what about taking a tune-up fight? Because those guys are not tune-up fights. You know it. You would have to fight somebody like a Delorme or maybe a Lipinets, and he said he ain't impressed with Lipinets, and he even said he wasn't impressed with Terrence Crawford. That's what he said. Terrence Crawford hasn't shown him that he's that man, that dangerous man that everybody's saying that he is. I guess that's why you turned down that money when they offered you that fight. And your excuse was, oh, it's not enough money. Yeah, not enough money for you to have your toes pointed up while your eyes is looking up at them lights. That's what it is. Man, Rashawn's About Time Boxing, man. Appreciate y'all. We on to the next one.